today, Gemini? That was kind of a funky chime. This is a general reading for the sign of Gemini. If you have Gemini anywhere in your birth chart, this is your reading. It is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. You know what is for you and what is not for you. Thank you, Spirit. Messages for the sign of Gemini. Gemini, if this is your first time tuning in, thank you for your likes, your shares, and your subscribes. Thank you, and especially your comments. We do like to see or hear those comments, and I think the comment section is a beautiful, wonderful way to put out good, positive karma, good, positive energy, and also to help fellow Geminis. Thank you, Spirit. Messages for Gemini. Gemini, this week, the new moon will be in Capricorn. And with that new moon in Capricorn, we will all be experiencing a strong need to be useful. Useful to family, to friends, to co-workers, and really to the world as a whole. And do not underestimate yourselves. And so this week we may be tempted to underestimate ourselves, and we may have moments of self-doubt, but do know that those moments of self-doubt are really opportunities. They're opportunities to overcome past issues, past mistakes, and I think past resentments. The one best thing that we can do for ourselves is to let go, is to forgive past resentments. When we're able to do that, we are able to move on. We're able to move forward. And the foundation, the basis of this reading is the 10 of Pentacles. That is the legacy wealth. That is creating wealth that not only for ourselves, but creating wealth for our family, creating wealth for our future and for future generations, building something that is going to last, creating something that is going to serve the world well after we're done here. And that is driven by a Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands is a fire, a passion, a desire of wanting to move forward, of wanting to build. And let's see how that plays into the rest of your reading here, Gemini. And we start off with the Moon card. And the Moon really shines light onto parts of our shadow self. And again, if we go back to thinking about the moon this week, the new moon, and the new moon is about fresh starts, new beginnings, leaving behind parts of our shadow self that is no longer serving us, and really knowing and really appreciating and really giving ourselves credit for who we are and how far we've come. And then we have the Tower card, a major change, a major shift, where we're seeing, we're understanding, or we will see, we will understand that there is so much more to this life than what is tangible, what it is that we can see, what it is that we can touch. That perhaps 90% of this life is about what it is that we do not see. It's about the energy, it's about the vibration, it's about the feeling and the emotion, and how we use that feeling and how we use that emotion. And then we have the Seven of Swords, outsmart, outwit, outlast. the finding of a secret. And then we have the Ace of Swords, which is the gift of knowledge, the gift of wisdom, the gift of understanding, the gift of confidence, the gift of the end of self-doubt. And why I say the end of self-doubt is because let's look back at this moon card and let's think that this week the moon will be shining light onto parts of our shadow selves that has to do with self-doubt, that has to do with our confidence. And something is going to arise, something is going to happen that is going to have us questioning our ability to legacy, our ability to build, our ability to create something that not only serves ourselves, but serves others. Perhaps up until this point, maybe it's been, and if we think about your past readings, and your past readings have really been talking or really looking that there is someone in your life, someone in Gemini's life that is operating behind a mask, operating behind an illusion. And in some cases, this is the Gemini, or in some cases, this is someone very close to the Gemini. But this week, I see that mask coming off. And I see that mask of self-acceptance coming in. And that self-acceptance is where the power, the wisdom, and the ability to create, accepting ourselves for who we really are, and accepting ourselves for the role that we play in our lives and the role that we play in the lives of others. And now that the holiday season, or the holidays are over, you are really wanting to focus on business. And you may be a little unsure about where to start, or a little bit unsure about where to begin. And I think a good place to start, a good place to begin, is really starting by getting our taxes in line, by getting our finances in line. That as we begin to generate wealth, as we begin to generate additional income, generate that money, what are we going to do with it? And when we have a tax plan, or we have a plan in place on how to handle that, it makes that transition a little bit smoother. And that smooth transition really does keep us from overspending or investing in the wrong areas. And knowing what we are going to do with that money as it starts to come in. And in your personal life, in your private life, we start off with contracts. We start off with agreements. These can be verbal or written agreements. And then we have the Seven of Wands, which is a guardedness, a protectedness, a practice, a using of our passion, a using of our fire. And the Hermit is looking at the seven. We've been so guarded and so protective, that we're frozen. We're frozen. We cannot move forward. We feel that we cannot change. We don't see, we don't understand that there is a light within us that will help guide us on our path. And then we have the Knight of Swords. Harsh words being spoken. Harsh words that require our action, that requires our attention. Perhaps we've been so guarded from past situations, from past words, from past experiences, from past agreements, that we haven't allowed ourselves time to be silly, Gemini. Time to let our guard down. We can be silly and we can be lighthearted with family and friends. And when we're at work, when we're in the public, when we are outside of our homes, that is where there's the need or the requirement to be serious. But we don't need to bring that seriousness into our home life. We do not need to bring that seriousness into relationships with family and friends, and with those that we need to connect with. And I think over this past few months, Gemini, we've been talking in readings for the Gemini of the needing to separate work life and home life, needing to have a specific friendships, specific relationships that involve work, and having that being separate from our home life. And now we see it playing in again, that seriousness that you need to have in your business life, in your career life, in your public life, is rolling over, is affecting your home life. And your home life, your private life, your personal friendships are requiring you to be lighthearted, to being silly, to being able to laugh and joke and not take the world so seriously. And when we're able to relax and to play and to be able to make jokes and to be able to take jokes. And so quite possibly I see that someone is wanting to be lighthearted with you. Someone is wanting to make jokes and to be playful with you. And there's a difficulty in turning off the seriousness. Let your guard down And we let our guard down, Gemini, in part by letting the past go. Every person, every situation is different. And every person and every situation needs to be judged on their own merits and not on the past. And that is going to require, and maybe again, putting back, putting down, working through, putting away, letting go of past resentments. And here we have the Eight of Swords, the being stuck, the inability to see, the inability to move forward with love, with companionship. An ending that left you feeling lack, that left you feeling out in the cold, the feeling of maybe being left behind or left out. There is love. There is love here for you, Gemini, that requires that you put an end, or you let end the past. Not letting go of the past, not seeing the current situation for what it is. I don't know if there is a love that is in your life or a love that is coming into your life, but you haven't made room for it. You have not made room for true love, true connection, true commitment, true partnership come into your life because of not being able to end a past situation that left you hurt, that left you out in the cold. And again, if we think back to the moon, the new moon and the energy and the fresh start, a fresh start many times begins with letting go of past resentments. Until we let go of this past resentment, until we let go of this past hurt, this past perceived betrayal, the love that is meant to come in for us, the love that we are meant to have, the love that we are meant to experience cannot come in. And that is a message that I have for the sign of Gemini. Thank you, Gemini. You have a blessed week.